So what is spondylolisthesis? It is defined as anterior or posterior slipping of one vertebra on the next lower segment. Actually, it was first described by Herbie Knox, who was a Belgian obstetrician who found difficulty in certain patients during delivery because of this pathology. And the term spondylolisthesis was used by Killian in 1854, and it is derived from the Greek word spondylos, meaning vertebra, and olisthesis or olisthenin, meaning to slip. So now coming to the various classification systems, as you all know, in orthopedics we are more towards classification systems to guide us in the treatment modalities. So the commonly used classification system for spondylolisthesis is called as the Wilsey, Newman and McNabb classification. They have divided the spondylolisthesis pathology into 5 types. The first one is called as the dysplastic type. So as the name indicates, when there is any dysplasia of L5 or S1 without a pars deficit, it means a dysplastic type. Pars means this portion of the bone is called as the pars. When there is no lysis or pars defect, but when there is dysplasia of L5 or S1, which means when it is a trapezoidal shaped L5 or when it is a dome shaped S1, these are all termed as dysplastic phenomenon. Then they term it as dysplastic type of spondylolisthesis. The next type is ischemic. As I said, when there is a break in the pars, it becomes ischemic type. It is called as a pars defect, and it is further subdivided into 3 types, which is A, that is lytic, when there is a stress fracture in the pars, or it is B, which is elongated pars but it is an intact pars without a lysis, or C, which is an acute fracture of pars, which is usually seen in football players or gymnasts or athletes. These particular type of acute fracture of pars comes under type 2C. Third type of listhesis is called as the degenerative listhesis. This forms the most common type and most important type for us in the clinical practice, which is the degenerative type of listhesis. It is commonest at L4-5. There will not be any pars defect, and as the name indicates, it is purely because of degeneration. And this degeneration is because of disc degeneration, resulting in sequence of events which we saw in the lumbar disc prolapse module. It can result in stenosis, facetal instability, facetal hypertrophy, resulting in movement of one vertebra over the other. Now, the thing which we have to understand here is, as I mentioned, the degenerative type of listhesis is very common at L4-5, whereas the dysplastic type of listhesis is common at L5-S1. Similarly, the degenerative listhesis will not progress beyond grade 1 or grade 2. We will be discussing about the grading in the next few slides, whereas the lytic or dysplastic listhesis will usually go beyond grade 2 or grade 3. The next type is traumatic type of listhesis, which is not very common. It's quite a rare phenomenon, which may be because of fractures of pedicle laminar facet. It is not because of fracture of pars. Whenever there is pars fracture, it becomes type 2. And type 2 is pathological type of listhesis. Whenever there is any abnormalities of bone like osteogenesis imperfecta or any other bony pathology, it falls under pathological type.